Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Networking with Michelle. This is episode 193, discussing leadership lessons. And before I get to that, as you know, I have built my brand on networking, right? And with networking comes relationship management. And I always get asked, Michelle, how do you manage all of your contacts? And I use the app called Covve. Covve is a contact management app that puts all the people in one place. It provides news, updates, and reminds you to reach out to individuals on a regular basis. So sign up for a free pro subscription for 1 month, and after that it's less than $10 a month. I think like $7.99 or $9.99. And then you can sign up at covve.com/Michelle Gourmet. So that's COVVE.com/Michelle Gourmet. I've been using this app for a month, and I think the best thing I like about it is when you have your contacts on LinkedIn, and of course they have their profile, the company that they work for. So if there's any news that is released about the company, especially when it comes to company cutbacks or job losses, it'll send you the news alert and be like, hey, this person might be affected, reach out to them. And I think that is so savvy. And it's been very, very effective of me, not just using my memory, but having those reminders like, hey, you speak to such and such on a weekly basis, or you speak to such and such on a monthly or quarterly basis. So if that's something that you need and you can benefit as you grow and nurture your network, go to covve.com/Michelle Gourmet and sign up for a free pro subscription for 1 month. And then tell me how you like it, right? Tell me if it's been effective. I would love to hear from you. All right, so let's move on. As I stated, this episode we're going to be discussing leadership lessons. I believe this is an episode I have promised for quite some time. So I wanted to go ahead and knock this out. And earlier this year, I started the African American Marketing Association, and this has definitely leveled up my awareness when it comes to a leader. And I believe I've definitely been in leadership roles before, but I've been the follower of the leader, right? So I've been the secretary, I've been the marketing chair, I've held other positions, but when you're the leader, like for real, when you're the president, the founder, it definitely puts a different type of pressure on you. And I think for me, it's like I know that, but this year has been an extra level, an extra stratosphere when it comes to self awareness, questioning myself, questioning my abilities. Am I making the right decision? And knowing that decision affects me, my team, members, and possibly the community, because branding and your reputation is everything. So I always want to make sure, whether it's personal or professional, but I always want to make sure I'm making the best decision with the information I have at the time. And it's taken me a long time to learn that, live that, and accept that. So it's been an interesting journey. I think overall I'm grateful. I definitely have a lot of room for improvement to finish off this year. Excuse me, to finish off this year, as well as going into not just 2020, but into the growth of the association, the expansion of the association. But at this moment, as of September 2nd, I want to tell you about the 5 lessons I've learned in leadership this year. The first one is leadership is a decision. Leadership is a decision. And I think it's easy to say, yeah, of course it's a decision, right? You put in an application, you go through the interview process, maybe they select you as a board member, they select you for that role. But even to take a step further, it's like, Michelle, you are about to create something. You are about to go down a path that has no definite blueprint, right? Because even though I have the experience, every organization is different. Every group of individuals that you work with, different personalities. So there's no blueprint on this is what you need to do to run a marketing association. Trust me, I tried. I looked and I was able to pick and choose things from different areas. And I've definitely taken my experience and applied it to this association. But leadership is a decision and it is a commitment. And going into this, I said, okay, I'm going to commit 5 years to this association. I'm hoping to be president for at least 2 years and pass the reign, but 5 years as the at least the executive director role. And I'm in month 9 and I'm worn out. It's it's been a short journey, but a journey nonetheless. And the sister is tired. But I am committed, and I made the decision to commit to this thing. And I even removed things off of my plate last year going into this decision. And as I always say, when you're good at what you do, you will always be afforded opportunities. And because of me launching the association, it's like more opportunities have been presented to me, to the organization as a whole. And it does get hard to say no, and then I have to go back to my decision map and be like, okay. And then my decision map is no longer for me, the individual, it's for the group. And I have to present these opportunities to the group and figure out, what is best for the team, what's in our capacity, and what would be beneficial to our members. So the first thing, leadership is a decision and leadership is a commitment. So all of my leaders that are listening, whether personal or professional, hang in there, don't give up. Number 2, along with that decision, that commitment, the second thing I've learned is just not the leader's vision. It's just not the leader's vision. The and I'm speaking for myself. I think I came in with a very high level vision, and I never bothered to think about the very, very minute details because I didn't have to, right? And I felt like if I did, that means it would be a dictatorship, and that's not what it is. It's a democracy, or I'm definitely one of those people that I want everyone involved. I want feedback from the members, from the interested parties to the members to the board members. And I think the most important thing to know that the leader has to have the high level vision, but then that vision has to be filled with the team's input. And I'm going to say team, the board members as well as the paid members. And as this is a new group, so even the outside people, has to be filled with input, and execution is just as important as the vision. And of course, anytime you start something, whether it's a business, a product, a service, an organization, of course it's a good idea, right? Of course it's a good idea. But, the best way I could sum it up is what Gary Vee says: clouds and dirt, right? The clouds are, at least my interpretation of it, the clouds are the high level strategy, the high level vision. It's kind of like you're in La La Land, right? But the only way you can get to La La Land is if you're doing the dirty work, if you're doing the grunt work, if you're hitting the pavement every day and getting shit done. Are you doing that? Is your team doing that? Are you making the phone calls, sending the emails? Are you showing up? Are you representing the organization the way it's supposed to? And it's hard to do that with one person. Sometimes it's hard to do that with 5 people. You can only divide and conquer so much. But what I've learned, it's not just the leader's vision that's going to take anything, the association or the business, the organization, to the next level. So with that, number 3, you need the right people. You have to find the right people, right? So you have to find the right people that will move the plan forward. you know, and it's it's one of those things where once again you have to make the right decision based off of the information you have with people, with the information that people present to you in the interview, your vibe with them, and do they have the capacity, mentally and physically to share this journey with you. And I think once again with opportunities, it's easy to say yes to opportunities because it sounds good, and the glitter is shining, it's thrown at you and it's shining. But the glitter wears off. The glitter falls off, it comes off, and then what do you have? Is it just as pretty? And not necessarily my not AMA, not the marketing association, but I have seen this with other organizations and people where they literally just show up for the photo opportunities. You know, if Mayor Turner, Mayor of Houston, Sylvester Turner, if he's at an event, or if there's some high representative, elected official at an event, I've seen people come out the woodworks and be like, "Oh yeah, I'm a board member of this organization." And it's, did you even turn your application in? I never heard back from you, but they show up. They show up for that photo opportunity, and then you're like, wait, this is someone that I want on my team because they're not doing the work. They want to appear to increase their highlight reel, right? And then they want to brag about being a part of something because it looks good, right? It looks good on your resume, it looks good on your career profile if you're an entrepreneur, it looks good on social media, as part of the highlight reel, but they're not doing the work. They're not doing that. And sometimes it's like you haven't even showed up to the meeting to get the assignment in order for you to do the work, you know? But when it's time for the event, you're there front and center. And then you start to question, it's like, am I surrounded by the right people? Am I surrounded by the right people? Did I select the right person to do the job? Did I select the right person for this role? And that is so critical for peace of mind as a leader, just trusting your team, trusting their abilities to get shit done. And then to move on to number 4 is delegate and initiate, right? And I think this is something, I'm sure just like yourself, I hear this all the time. As soon as you start a business, you have to delegate. You have to delegate. And it's like, okay, all right, easier said than done, right? But even with that delegation, you still need individuals, once again, the right individuals that can take the initiative to start task and fill in task. And one thing I've learned in this role as president is that I cannot initiate, delegate, and put out fires. It's hard. It's very hard. And the reason why I say it's hard because this is not my full-time job, right? And even if it is my full-time job, that's challenging too because I'm a manager at work. So I'm bombarded with a bunch of things, and I'm a team of one of marketing at my job, right? At the law firm. So lots of times I'm the only person that can execute. So I'm making decisions, I'm creating strategies and executing, and then communicating with my boss, team, or the other employees and vendors, right? So I'm doing that. I still have my business where I'm making decisions and communicating with my clients and other independent contractors that help me. And then I have the association, right? And it's just a lot. It's a lot. So even when I'm delegating, that's fine. But what I realized with finding the right people is like, okay, once again, does this person have the capacity? Does this person have the wherewithal? Um, can they take the initiative? That's like, yes, I know Michelle told me to do this, but this came up, right? Something we possibly couldn't predict. I couldn't predict, but this came up, and then are you able to take care of it, right? Or while you're working, I delegated a task to you, and while you're working on that task, a challenge came up, and maybe I need to know, maybe I don't need to know, but you're once again, you're able to take care of it. And I'm one of those people, I've always been this type of person. I'm on a need to know basis, right? Especially if it's something small. Like, do I need to know it? Or sometimes I would like to say, or like to hear, oh, well, this came up and I went forward with on the, excuse me, I went forward with this decision. This is the decision I made. I appreciate that more because in the event that word gets back to me, I'm like, okay, well, I know person A made this decision and I'm backing them, right? I'm backing them in that decision versus I had no clue. And now I have to go back, do research. I have to find person A, discuss with them, hey, what happened? And I think that's usually what happens is when you don't get that kind of information, that's when people want to know every single thing. It's like, okay, well, tell me everything. As soon as you hear something, tell me before you make a decision. And then as a leader, that's putting more burden on you, right? So finding the right people and then finding those people that have that not can they can I'm getting tongue tied. Finding the right people that can take your instructions, execute full throttle, but then they also have the initiative to go above and beyond and be like, okay, well, because we've all been there, and it's like, okay, well, I'm gonna do A, B, C, D, and then when you get to C, it's like, boom, you hit a brick. You can't predict that brick, and that's fine. But if you have a team, can that team help you push forward? Or if they're even stumped, it's like, hey, Michelle, I was presented with this. What do you think is the best thing we do? And that's one thing I've had to learn because it takes up a lot of mental space. Decisions, like I suffer from decision fatigue. I've always suffered from decision fatigue, and I think a lot of us do. We just you probably didn't know, or you didn't know what to call it. Especially I think for people when you in your early to mid 30s, you probably have 1 or 2 degrees and you've been working for a while and you're growing your career, and now you're probably in that mid-level manager track, shooting for those positions, or just got those mid-level manager positions, and it's like you're tired. You're tired. You're in meetings all day and you're not even capable of doing work. And in those meetings, you're discussing and making decisions. You know, so delegate and initiate is the fourth lesson that I've learned this year, and whew, that's important. That's important. And number 5 is set and accept realistic expectations and goals. Set and accept realistic expectations and goals. I think one thing that I've been disappointed in myself, or just along these lines of expectations, I thought that launching Alma was going to be like this big hit. Like, I literally thought it was going to be a newsworthy sensation, and that hasn't been the case. Like, got the press release, paid for the press release distribution. I thought, especially the black media outlets, publications were going to pick up on it, and crickets. I was like, okay. Very disappointed. I was very disappointed. especially for me to be sitting on this idea for the past several years, 4, 5, 6 years. And when I do talk about it, everyone's like, man, this is a good idea. I can't believe there's not anything nationwide. And I wasn't able to get the media attention I was hoping to get when it came to launching the association. And I think, and I and I know me, I get grandiose, I get lofty, I get dreamy, and that was my fault. The second part with that, also, I thought membership. I thought membership was going to take off. We created this campaign called Project 100, where we get the first 100 members at $50 before it goes to $150, and those members are gonna once we complete that number, those members will be awarded certificates and other novelty items and stuff like that. But membership has been slow. Membership has been slow. It's been tough. And it's a catch-22 because there's a lot of compliments on what we're doing. Our brand looks great on the social media pictures and graphics, and I'm grateful for that. But it hasn't been an instant draw like I was hoping. And that also goes into, the media attention slash get more attention, increase of awareness, and then you're able to funnel those people into membership. Another thing is we do get a lot of, I'm not going to say a lot, but we've had a good number of people that are outside of Houston reach out to us, but it's been hard to incorporate them because our events are in Houston. So it's like, how do I engage the out of towners into this brand new association? Which is another layer of complication to that, is that a lot of people feel that we are an established, AMA is an established organization. And it's like, nah, we're not established. Like, we just announced in February, and we're only in Houston. So if you're in Arkansas, Atlanta, or other places, the best thing we have, or the best thing I'm trying to create, is the online space for people, and see if their membership would be worthwhile. So I've been disappointed in those areas. I've been disappointed as far as not getting the media attention I thought would have been worthy at the time earlier this year, and not having the membership numbers come in like I thought. And I just think it's the growing pains of a new organization, not just a new chapter, but a new organization. And once again, there's no blueprint, so it's like I'm literally learning and trying to figure out, what are my day-to-day priorities when it comes to just doing the work. Right, there's so much work that comes in for me on a regular basis, and then of course I'm at work 8 hours a day. Plus, I have a short commute, but we'll just say an extra hour with my commute. Work alone, I'm tired, and then trying to go to networking events, show face, build relationships with good family and friends, whether it's on phone or in person. All of that takes time. And then I still have my clients, I still have the association. So it's been a challenging year, but it's been a great year. And one of the reasons why it's been a great year is just because I feel like I've done a great job on taking care of my relationships this year. And, once a leader, always a leader. It's just part of the growing pains, it's part of the cycle. And right now I am looking for programs and courses on professional development. That way I can become better in this area of my life. I know leadership is very important, because if it's not the association, like, I'm just a leader. I think I've always been set apart. When I look back And when I look back as a child growing up, as a student in high school, I've always been set apart. I've always kind of did my own thing and just stood out. And, I just lead. I just lead, but I want to make sure that I lead sincerely and successfully, right? So I think going into 2020, my goal is to continue to be sincere, but at the same time, do a better job communicating when it comes to the delegating. Do a better job communicating when it comes to working and finding the right people, right? And then communicating when it comes to setting the right goals and expectations for the association, as well as for myself, because I know I can be hard for myself. But overall, this is what it's about. This is what it's about. It's about making history and creating a legacy. And Alma is it's a baby, yeah, but it's a part of my legacy now. And I'm grateful for the opportunity. I'm grateful for my board. I'm grateful for my team. I'm grateful for my friends. I'm grateful for members. I'm grateful for my mentors and my therapist. And once again, just my friends, especially my friends that serve in other leadership roles in their respective rights, and just having a safe space to talk to them, to be a sounding board, and becoming a better person as we share our experiences. I'm just so grateful for this opportunity and grateful to reach this point in my life. So, once again, leadership lessons that I've learned in 2019. And I hope you enjoyed this episode. Be sure to check out the show notes. Be sure to check out the app, Covve. Once again, Covve, COVVE.com/Michelle Gomez. You can get a free pro subscription for 1 month. It'll allow you to better manage your contacts. And remember, a personal connection leads to an influential network. Thanks for networking with Michelle.